isterseniz şey var. Şöyle
Büyük marketlerin mevcudu. Onların çünkü şeyleri çok ucuz olabiliyor. İşte öyle bir şey lazım. Vesaire. Aldi var mı? Bir ama krem, el kremi falan da güzel olur. Ama sen orayı ben seni götürdüğümde kızarsın gelmiş.
Brussel halde B. Halde B.
Evet. Saat 2'de bitiyor galiba. Saat 2 son.
Görevini soralım da bari. Hocam ne? Bence hiç şey yapmayalım.
Hello everybody. I am sure we are all getting tired, but the lunch is coming as well, so we should start the next session. Yeah, thank you very much. So the next speaker is Slavko from our partner Inter Projects from Bulgaria. Thank you very much for coming again.
My name again is Slavko, the full name. I'm from the Inter Projects, Bulgarian partner in MKR project. And now I would like to present the results from a piloting phase of the MKR project. Results from Bulgarian side. Our group of learners consists of 22 participants. For us, it was easy to collect these people, thanks to good relations that we have with municipality directorates, which are responsible in social service and some other organization in social sector. Profile of participants, personal caregivers, all of them, but with different background. So some of them are social workers in background, personal assistants, and nurses. All these people are acting as personal caregivers independently of their backgrounds. Involvement of the trainers. 3 trainers have been involved. They've been trained how to conduct the piloting phase of MCARE project. They are familiar with the MCARE pedagogical approach. And these people are experienced in the provision of training in the field of personal care and social services. Profile of the trainers of these 3 people. One of them is a vet trainer, second is an expert in pedagogy, in field of non-formal training, and one practitioner who is working as a PCG now. We have 2 induction sessions held. One was started at 15th of March 2015 with group of 10 piloters. Second piloting panel was last month. It started at the 15th of October 2015 with a group of 12 piloters. Overview of the results from pre-assessment phase. Overall, good level of results was achieved, and good level of knowledge in terms of disability awareness, hygiene, psychological needs, daily care at home, first aid and risk, communication, and social inclusion, and average level of knowledge in terms of psychological empowerment, PCG burnout, and policy mobility was achieved. The last one, average level, means not the people are not interested in this theme, in this topic, on these topics, but the content, how to say, it's a little bit far of their daily routine activities. So their main focus was on the second topic, this part of content, which is linked more steadily in their everyday activities, so practically directed. how was used e-learning platforms, for example, frequency, interface, usability, presentation of the content, etc. These topics derived from the feedback forms and are presented in following topics. Frequency, according to the answers of the piloters, average 2 or 3 times a week. About the interface, it was easy to navigate through the content. About the usability, they thought that it is easy to use with tablet or mobile phones also. And about the presentation of the content, the opinion of our people is the content is well organized and it is easy for them to navigate. What problems were encountered and what are the troubleshooting? 3 points. Rare registration problems. Some users provided wrong email accounts at the beginning of the piloting phase. For people without experience with e-learning platforms, an additional demonstration sessions were required and of course were conducted. The platform is accessible now without need of registration. So there's no limits or limitations. Now it's easy for these people. Frequency of required support. At the beginning of the pilot phase, more intensive support was required, average 2 times per week. Some piloters we are employed in the same organization to support each other based on peer-to-peer support. The results from post-assessment or midterm results: improved level of knowledge in terms of disability awareness, hygiene, physiological needs, daily care at home, first aid and risks, communication and social inclusion, psychological empowerment, PCG burnout, policy and mobility. We foreseen 2 parts of certification events. One is closer, 9th of December 2015, will be held in Sofia, and second one, 18th of December 2015 in Plovdiv, to give the certification, the certificate of our pilots. You can see some photos of our preparation session. Actually, at the beginning you use desktop configurations computers just to make sure that our people are familiar with the content, they can understand all things, and simply to use a PowerPoint presentation as a file format. It was very useful for them to have a look in all contents. And after, induction sessions will be conducted in small groups using mobile devices. Of course, for people in Bulgaria, it's quite hard to use these devices. As you can see, people in middle age, but many efforts these people were given, so the results that you see was achieved. These are our contact details. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Slavi. Any questions from the audience on the feedback that was provided from Bulgaria? Because then I will go to the last one, and that's for Belgium. No? Tamam? Everything okay? Good. Let's check it out. Yeah. So, should I say last but not least, maybe Belgian feedback? I'll try to keep it short because we're running over time, but I think it was good that we had a very track the discussion early on also with the other people. In terms of the partying in Belgium, we had 27 participants and 3 trainers. So we had quite a big group. Of those participants, we have 12 current personal caregivers. And I think I will discuss a little bit more on this because I spoke with some people and there's a little bit of misunderstanding who the target group is for healthcare. I think I overheard some people talking as well, so I would like to clarify that. When we wrote this proposal 4 or 5 years ago, the first time because we submitted it twice, we had a very frequent discussion with our Turkish colleagues, and what we actually knew from reality was that the average personal caregiver is in general low skilled. Okay? Especially when we look in other countries in Europe. When we look in Belgium, many personal caregivers are, for example, also students that study to become a nurse. They are a personal caregiver for a couple of years, the studies are finished and they disappear. They're no longer a caregiver. Because obviously they become a full-time nurse. There are, for example, also people that work in elderly homes and that more and more are being confronted with people with disabilities that become old and are also in elderly care centers. So, also these people we should consider. And then there are also those that depend on the care from family. They're not official personal assistants. In Belgium, I can't now recall the term, how do the thuisverzorger, family, how do we call it in Belgium? Mantelzorg. So mantelzorg in Belgium is a concept whereby actually you have a family member who takes time off his work to take care of the family, of the family member. And then we also have the end user groups. The people with disabilities may be interested also to know how can I improve my daily life. So all these groups of people can have interest in the end care training. Do we say that we are complete? No. That's also the reason why I said earlier on, you're able, once we deploy it, you're able to go in the backend system and adjust it to your needs. For example, for Belgium, Natalie, if you can wave. Natalie is an ex-personal caregiver, has done it for many years, but she's also the person together with us is going to deploy this also in Belgium. She's also going through the material, she's adjusting it, etc. So our idea is really having a core basis course that everyone can take and adjust to their own needs. Now if you look at the profile of the participants we had in Belgium, that reflects more or less our quite diversified target group that we actually want to support with our training. So we had current personal caregivers, caregivers that work already with people with disabilities, but sometimes they also have new clients. A personal caregiver does not necessarily work for one client. They can work for multiple clients. But one disability is not the same as another disability. So they are faced with various challenges. We had four student nurses. These are young people that while they are studying, they do this, let's say, as a side job. They are personal assistants doing that as a side job. Then we had elderly care center carers that themselves, they work in an elderly care center, and more they are confronted with the fact that people come in and they have disability. Also because people become older, thanks to medical solutions, or simply because we have an aging population as well. Then we had 5 family members. So there was there was also a gentleman whose wife had a disability, but there are also brothers and sisters of people with disabilities. And you would be surprised how many do this. Although I've always been told by a very good friend of mine who has a severe disability, I do not want any of my family to touch me. And the reason she gave was, the moment you pass that border, you actually lose the fact of having a family member. Because it's a very demanding job, being a personal assistant. That's also why he said, she has also a companion, I do not want my companion to be my personal assistant. This is a job, and I want someone to do the job. When I have my boyfriend, I don't want my boyfriend to become a personal assistant. So I say these things to make it very clear to everyone that we have a very diversified team. Also, if, for example, when we have people from Greece on board, the situation of personal assistants in Greece is totally different from personal assistants in Belgium. Personal assistants in Greece, majority are illegals, immigrants, people that hide for the police. And they need to have a living, so they work as personal assistants, but that means they cannot always go out with their client because they may be picked up in the streets. This is reality of fact in Greece. In Belgium, we have other cases as well. And then the other three participants were people from the end user group. So people with disabilities that were interested to see how could they be helped. We had 3 trainers. These 3 trainers, so there were 2 ex-personal caregivers and there was 1 end user expert. He was supposed to be here today, he could not make it. And what did these people actually do? From the very beginning of the project, we involved them because they are the people that know many things. Many things we don't know. They revise also the content. They also made comments to us, like change that, add additional parts. I will come back to that later. Important for us also was these 3 trainings. We had to train them. Because we have a concept in mind, but we had to make sure that they understood our concept and that they adjusted the way they wanted it. So we have the blended training approach. So that means you have the mobile solution, we have the online solution, but, and I think Andrian already mentioned it here, the paper version is still very important. People want to have a piece of course in their hand that they can quickly go through as well. Okay? So as I said, 2 ex-PCGs and then 1 expert user who shared own experiences, which is not always according to the book. But this is how he has experiences, how it goes best. I just put this for information, so we had expert user sessions to provide feedback on the training model and training material. We had induction sessions for the trainers to train them how we believe it should be done. But the most important part were the training sessions. So we had don't recall them all, but we had more or less 10 sessions, each time 3 hours, with between 2 to 10 participants. So the groups were kept quite small. Also because of practical exercises. You cannot do practical exercises with a class of 20, 30 people. It's simply impossible. And then also we had a number of user events where we brought people together. And maybe to add, we always had lunch or dinner or breakfast. I think this is very good when you do piloting. They also help you out. We also offer them a nice lunch. We sat together. It was always lots of fun. Now, I will shortly talk about the pre and post assessment. So what we did, some of you have already seen. When you go on the platform, you get 30 questions. We call that the pre-assessment. And what does that mean? That means you're interested in the course, but you can test yourself how good are you. So the initial results that we got were between 60 to 85%. Is that good? No. Is that bad? No. And why is that? Because we take 30 questions randomly from 180 questions. So it means in some areas someone is very good, some areas people are less good. One of the things that popped up very early was that use of wheelchairs is not addressed in questions. So how do you use wheelchairs to handling? It was not addressed in the questions. So this was brought up. Why don't you ask questions about that? Well, simply because it was not in the training material. So in the last, I think the last 2 months, together with Gazi, we have developed extra training material. How do you handle wheelchair? Because it seems everyone talks about the wheelchair and then it's forgotten. But how you handle the wheelchair is very important. Because actually it's, at the same time it's an assistive device, but it can be a weapon as well. Especially when I see sometimes people pushing people down a hill or off a curb, it's dangerous. So we added that based on that comment. The other comment also that they said from 30 questions, how can you make a good assessment? I fully agree. The results for the Belgian case, we're going to change it. We're going to ask all 180 questions because we believe it's better. Good to know. If you believe there have to be more questions, more detailed questions, you can easily change that. So as I said before, the script can be easily customized to the language version. So with the online platform, we access it at every training session. So the online platform is actually very easily done. So you have the structure of the content, and for every content there's a slideshow. And as I mentioned before, we do not train text. We train bullet points, actually very targeted. So for those who has the book here at the moment, Sylvia? Who has the book? The book that is there? Okay. So if you can just raise it, So please do not take the book, because I need for a couple. We have a couple of events coming up, and I need to go to the European Parliament with it as well to point it to some people. Now, in that book, when you look through it, you will see really bullet points, slides. That's the way we train it, and the training is all the added value. So that's also why we say in the project everything is freely available, but actually the knowledge of the trainer is the most important in this project. That you cannot capture in a course. That's based on practice. In terms of interface, so there we did not have any comments. And the reason is very simple. We had a technical guy at every single meeting who was there to support. So actually we did not have any issues there. Usability, a mobile device, once you explained it twice, people were easy actually to work with. Content, I have already talked about that. Now, what were the problems? That's the challenges. And how did we solve that? So I said before, any technical issues, we had the guy there, and the guy addressed anything that we had an issue with, or we had a direct helpline with our nice colleagues from ATET, even on weekends, I must say, so thank you very much for that. We had practical training sessions also at home. So we had a person with a very severe disability. So we were with 5 PCGs who went to the home of that person. That person had also his own PCG there, and we had them look how things are done. Very practical, and actually that's the only way people can really learn it. Because from a textbook you cannot learn from it how to turn someone properly. If someone is choking, how do you deal with it? I mean, Andreas already brought it up. We use real examples and demonstrations. Real examples, so not out of the textbook, but we also use videos to show how it's a real situation. We applied also an open access approach. So we had the same issue. We know from many past projects we have done, the moment people have to register, I get an avalanche of emails, where is my password? So we stopped that. No registration, people go directly into the learning material and they can go through it. Only in the portal we ask people to register, of course, to avoid a little bit of spamming, and also if you want to do your assessment, indeed you need to be registered, because you need to identify who you are, so that you can also receive the feedback back via email. Now, common issue in Belgium when you address inclusion and you use devices, whether mobile devices, people don't have those devices, and service providers do not want to buy those devices. So what we did is, like every time, we provide from the company a whole set of Samsung tablets so that people can actually use it themselves and experience it. But we also use very cheap devices. So to demonstrate, you don't need a 600 euros device. It can work even on a 90 euros device. So it is possible. So thanks to shops like Lidl, what do we have at Aldi and God knows whatever. You have those very cheap tablets, it works. And then we also had 10 laptops that we provided for everyone so that they could also follow at their own pace. Required supporters, as I said, quite limited, and outside the meetings the partners, the participants had what we call a hotline support email, which was frequently used, but it allowed us actually to easily reply. In the worst case, they had a mobile phone number that they could contact at any moment. When we look at the post-assessment, the scores were between 85 and 95%. Does that mean that we have made sure that they understood it better? Not necessarily. Most likely, because they have seen examples, they make the linkage. They get the question, they link it with the examples that they have seen. Not necessarily with the content, with the examples. One of the PCGs, the current PCGs, said here, We got the refreshment of many relevant care aspects, while we are also learning considerable new aspects, such as handling wheelchairs. And I mentioned before, so this was a comment that we got from an end user, and that was also added. Modules that were providing for them the most new content were considered disability awareness. And why is that? As I said before. When you are a personal assistant, you address many types of disabilities, possibly, but possibly also not. So for some of our PCG caregivers, they were mainly handling people with mobility impairments. And when they then saw disability awareness that is also relevant for other types of disabilities, of course it broadened their, let's say, their view on where they could potentially work. Communication and social inclusion. We have here a system in Belgium, it's called the White Yellow Cross. And a common comment that we hear from people that deal with the White Yellow Cross is they come in, quick, they do everything and they disappear again. Well, many of the users of the White Yellow Cross actually they won't have a chit chat. They often do not see anyone the whole day. So when the person comes, they want to talk. So this is also why, for example, the communication social inclusion module was quite important for them. Because they realize actually there's an added value. And I know there are now a number of initiatives here, also with the White Yellow Cross, people that have stepped out of the system and they reintroduced a new way of caring. And one of the principles is, at least an hour we talk with the person. Then also the PCG burnout. And there we have to make a difference between stress and burnout. They're not the same. But that was also considered very important, also because of the mental strain people get. Because often you are confronted also with the death of a client. How do you cope with that? So this is also very important. Policy, we addressed it before, and the mobility one. And mobility is relevant for everyone. Whether you have a disability or not, you want to go out. But how do you ensure that you go out in a proper way? And then also with mobility, one of the sessions was on how do you move a person who is in a wheelchair. And one of the questions was that you asked, how would you do that? Half of the suggested cases would break actually the back of the person. I'm not kidding. So a person that is already quite injured after an accident, you have to be very careful how you handle that. So therefore also that part of mobility is very important. And we had lots of contributions there from Bullet, who is a daily expert in that area. Now certification. Of course everyone who has participated they will get a certification, and this we will do later in December in the area of EPERS. And then also our staff will attend the 2 meetings that our Bulgarian partners are organizing in Sofia and Plovdiv, also to share what we have learned and also to shortly introduce the project. And that's actually the end of my presentation. So I hope from everything that you have seen from all the partners that you have an idea what we still need to do, because we still have some work to do to improve it. On the other hand, there's already a lot there that can be used. I would like to emphasize again, everything that we have created in this project is free. All the leaflets that you see, everything that we have created is free. It's made by taxpayers' money, so we give it back to the taxpayer. So be aware of that. If you would ever meet someone who asks money for it, pull my hair and I will pull his hair. So thank you very much. The next session we have is Costa.
A mobile application.
Costa will introduce a mobile application very shortly,
Very short.
in about 10 minutes. And then after that we're going to look at a number of very relevant initiatives from Europe that touch caregiving. So be aware, and also the people from Cyprus, Colombia and other countries. There are a lot of ideas, and I think for those that work in projects here, you may get new ideas and say, we could expand the idea that we have with what we are going to present here. Now the word to my Arkudaki Kostala.
Thank you, Chiara.
sure. We will be very quick.
I have a group that is working on communication environment. Yes. And trying to design an innovative environment for communication between the user and the new technologies. So we have the goal here in order to design a nice application, a nice mobile app for people, for personal caregivers, in order to have an access to the content from the distance using a single mobile app, a mobile device like a tablet. So I'm going to present this mobile environment. I will hide you some technicalities because behind that application, difficult problems have been solved. For example, imagine that all the content is somewhere stored in the cloud, and you have a tablet. You can move everywhere in the world, and all the content is transmitted transparently to your local device. You can search on this post to search about your information that you're looking for, and also the administrator it's possible to update that content, and pushing only a refresh button, all the new content can come again to your device. There is a profile that is stored also at the server, at the cloud, so everywhere you are, the history of your information, the achievements, the badges that you have are kept and they follow you. So there are many technical problems that have been solved behind that application, but now I will present the functionality part. First, at the design methodology, we try first to collect the user requirements analysis, the user requirements in order to understand who are our users, what are the characteristics of our users. So we start with survey results, we create personas, we have a clear view of our target group. We create scenarios, cases, and also many prototypes that we evaluated, and then we went to a final design of the application. This is the target group of user population. You have heard enough about them, but mainly they are low-skilled people, so we try to have a very nice interface in order to, and very adaptive, user-friendly, and we also try to have a high level of user satisfaction, because if we give to these people complex interaction and difficult navigation, then people will not use that application. I'm sure that you all agree about that usability issues. We'll plan later to demonstrate this mobile app, so you have a personal experience interacting with that device with the application. So the most important part is to see the different functions that the application will provide. And since we have a huge content, we're talking about 600 learning units or posts for in every language. So we have a very easy way to have access to that content. So we have to define different search methods. For this reason, we have a recommended list, we have a wizard, we have a favorite list, we have available categories for free for browsing, we have a search engine that using keywords the user can actually find the content, and also it's possible for a user to create opinions and comments. So the user is not only a receiver of the information, it's possible to transmit information, to write comments about the specific learning object that they reads. So we create a community using this application. Of course, it's a multilingual content. We have created the content, we copy the content in all these languages, English, Turkish, Bulgarian, Dutch, German, and Greek. And very easily can expand this list of languages. So you can see the first interface where the user immediately selects the language that he wants to, his own language, and she can then go there to goes next to actually use the application. We have a dual functionality, as Carl said before. We will try to incorporate also results from our previous project Outlet. So the app will not provide only information about the personal caregivers, but also provide information about the assistive technologies that exist there, products for assistive technologies concerning the ICT, information communication technology. And also, of course, the MCare part, which the content specialized focused on PCGs. You can see here that you can select either one mode or the other. We'll focus mainly on the first one, about the personal caregivers. For the second mode, we're trying now to just, the functionality is there, has been implemented, and we just move the content from our previous project to put it inside also in this application. So let's talk about the PCG mode. So the user can reach the educational material with different search methods, as I said, wizard, search, browsing, and also there is a possibility to have quizzes inside the content. So the user responds to the quizzes and collect badges. So we try to have the user more engaged in that process in collecting the badges. We put some gamification techniques in order to motivate the user using more and more that application. So you can see here that the next screen, after selecting the language of the PCG mode, the different ways of accessing the information, either wizard, browsing, search, free search, and favorites. Also, you can, if you want, you can create, you can register to the platform, create a login account, and if you log in, then you are able to send comments to the content that you read. Also, you can collect points and badges and create a profile, but this is not something that you have to do. If you would like to join the group and the community, you can register and then log in that application. And of course, if you log in, you can see your achievements. Here, you can collect the points and the badges during your learning process in order to see how good you are in some modules or what you have to do more or to read more. So the first search method is a wizard. But it's a way that the wizard guides the user how to find the specific information. For example, here you can see that the user has to define which category wants to find information about disability awareness, communication skills, policy, and all that. So you can see also here that there is, if she selects communication skills, then another pop-up menu appears in order to be more specialized in that selection, so can focus more and more in a specific category that he wants to learn information about that topic. Then another way of accessing information is a free search. So it's like a Google search. You can just have a simple window and line where you put the keywords one after the other. So the system takes the keywords and tries to find posts that these keywords exist inside. So you can, it prompts you all the posts that contain that keywords. And the third way of accessing information is browsing. You have all the categories here with the nice icons and the titles of the categories. So you select the specific category that you like to have, and pushing that button, of course, all the posts that belong to that category appears to the screen. And also the user is possible to select some posts that are favorite to him in order to see and visit and again some problems that the user finds very regularly during his job. So he collects that post in the favorite list. So he has a direct access immediately in order to read about this post. You can see here a user, for example, that has selected 6 posts as favorites, so immediately has access to that post. Of course, the user can log in and register if he wants to participate in the gaming part, because it's not only a simple learning process, it's a gamified learning process in order to motivate the user to collect points and badges. You can see here the login and register screen. The training modules, you know from the previous presentation all about the content, but also I want to also to emphasize here that we can append not only content and icons, but also videos. And for example, here we can have videos incorporated in the post, so you can see all these videos inside the app without having to move to a different application. You are inside the app and you can see the video about not only to read or to see some icons about the process. So also there is a social part. The user, after the login, is possible to participate in conversation, to create some comments about a specific topic, to express his opinion, and other users can answer back to that opinion, so they can create a social group that is interested in specific field. So this is also a nice property of our system. You can see here some comments, and now we can comment and reply to the comments, so we can create a group of people and exchange ideas about a specific topic. And also, as I said before, we have the gamification part of the learning process. Inside the post, there are quizzes that after the visiting of some posts, the user has to answer some quizzes, collect points, and also collect badges. This is a way to put the gamification elements inside the learning process in order to motivate and engage more the users and make it more a fresh application, very interesting for them to work. Okay? Because we want to keep them playing and at the same time learning from the material. So we have created a game about the points and the values and the quizzes, all of that, it's inside the app. We have every quiz has 15 questions, and 50% of the questions are displayed randomly. For example, you can see here a post, and after reading the post, there is a specific set of questions, a quiz. The user responds to that quiz, and then he tests. He can take badges, and he finds the score in which questions he went good or bad, he had the correct or wrong answers. And also there is a leaderboard, so you can see other players that also respond to the same questions, to see the points that they collected. And this motivates the user in order to participate in more quizzes, and also at the same time read more and more of the content. So here is the list of achievements, so I can see how many badges I collected during my learning process. We have many badges there in order to make it interesting for the user to try to collect badges. Every category has a specific badge, so the user try to collect badges and at the same time to participate in this content. And now we'll talk about the back part, the back end of the system, because as we said, the mobile application communicate with the cloud, with the server, that there is all the content is stored there, all the posts are organized and kept inside the server and transmitted transparently to the user, to the mobile application. So please, Karel, who is responsible for this back end.
Rest with your phone. The only thing I would like to add here, the gamification is not, okay, it's gamified. You would think maybe people play a game. The gamification is really to trigger interesting people to continue improving their skills. That's actually the point of gamification. They learn something, they get a couple of questions, they can assess themselves. Okay, so we go back actually to the element of self-assessment. Checking for yourself without getting a degree or anything, but checking for yourself whether how good are you in what you have learned. So, as Costa said correctly, we have an online community portal, which at the same time is also providing the tool to put content in the mobile application. So that avoids once again that we end up with a mobile application and once the process is stopped, we can throw it away actually because it's not being updated anymore. So this tool we can continuously update, we can expand. This portal we have available in 6 languages. For a number of activities we do require people to register. I explained that before. We have in there a toolbox. I will show a screenshot and I will show it where it is so you can easily go to it and experience it yourself. So we have a toolbox there for the trainer and the trainee. There are 3 tools in there for which you definitely have to be registered. That's a pre-assessment form, around 30 questions. A self-assessment form, around 30 questions. And then a post-assessment form, 180 questions. If you believe that these 180 questions are not enough, we can put even 360 questions in it. If you believe 180 is just too much, we can put 60 questions in it. Okay. In addition, in that toolbox, we have a consent form. That consent form was mainly applicable for us during the pilot. Because that means actually that you can store that data and that you can use that data. It also gives you, actually, it authorizes the trainer to use that information to assess you. There's also an application form. An application form say that you would like to participate in the training. There is an application form available in there. And I hope after the duration of the project that you can still use that and that you can deploy such trainings in all the partner countries. I know it is a fact for Belgium, I know it is a fact for Bulgaria, you are in advanced stage. We will also discuss very practical approaches for Turkey. Germany, I'm sure you will also find very practical application. And then there is also feedback. Because we need to have feedback from the people that use the training to know what can be improved, what is not there, what should be better. So these opinion forms is also used by us to collect feedback from people that participated in the pilot. And there actually you ask feedback from both the person who followed the training as the person who gives the training. And finally, I think this is the most interesting tidbit. There's also a part where a registered user can suggest own content. And the moment he suggests your own content, if you approve it, it's directly into the system, it's directly visible in the mobile application. So this is a screenshot. I apologize, it's not that big. So at the top, you have a number of sections. We have a community part as well, so that people can come together and they can exchange opinions and ideas about content. This is available in all the languages. For the English version, we have the glossary. And I say the English version because we have experienced that the original English version had a lot of terms that were difficult to explain. And also because English has a number of terms for which they still don't agree among each other how to call people. And let's start with the term people with disabilities, disabled people, people with special needs, people with enhanced capabilities, you name it. So in English it's problematic with the terminology they use. So that's why we put a glossary in it to have a little bit of a way, one by one, to put terms in there. And this will be expanded now because you know now where the problem cases are. And then the toolbox, as I mentioned before. So once you are registered, you see that information. If you're not registered, you're kindly asked to register so that you can see the information. And then obviously there's a contact point, there's everywhere. And then there's suggest content, as I said before. So we kept it as simple as possible. The more we see on screen, the less we understand from it. As simple as that. The same with the mobile application. The more dots and bells we see, the less actually we understand it. So we kept it very simple. So that's why on the top you have a simple menu, and on the right side you have a simple registration. Apart from that, we also have the online training platform for which we use a tutor. HUTU is by far the most accessible learning platform worldwide. It meets WCAG 2 top level. So for the time being, we have said no registration is required to access training material, and the trainer can add additional material if he wants. So for example, the Dutch training environment, there is a Dutch trainer that has access and that has actually uploaded additional training material. So this is what you will normally see. You click on it, and you will see this, and you pick out the course that you want. So there are the ones for German, Greek, English, Turkish, and the nice language, Dutch. So I would like to stop there because you can go to the platform, you can explore it. Those that would, I see people writing down here. Everyone will receive a personal email with all the presentations that will be uploaded. So only if there is something I say or someone says which is not on the presentation, make notes, otherwise you just write it for fun. But everything will be made available. Also the video will make that available for everyone. So that's a short information. Now that's the end of my presentation. The moment we are releasing, should be by 15th of December, we're going to release the mobile app publicly. So obviously now we are in the beta version, we lock it for people so that we don't have users coming in and start bombarding us with the topics. On 15th of December it will be put publicly, and if you then fill in MCare, you will be able to download the app. Again, everyone who is present here, also those that chickened out because of the terror issues, you will all receive an email with that information so that you can download that as well. So thank you very much for the nice presentation, Costa as well. So now actually we have a very interesting number of sessions. So we're going to have 6 presentations by 6 people that have very interesting things to say. We go from Cyprus over Turkey. We even go to Latin America. And I hope that you will learn a lot of things because it's really interesting. Okay? Good, thank you very much. If I could have the first speaker here, who is?
Asel
Yes.
VLEVA from Belgium. The need for good care towards the end users and how to ensure quality.
Thank you very much for the interesting presentations before the break and afterward. So my name is Asel, and I am from the European Association of Service Providers for Persons with Disabilities. And today I'm going to present a project that we were involved in as partners, and the project is called ELOSH. It stands for European Core Learning Outcomes for Integration of Support and Housing. But before I start talking more about the project, I would like to start with explaining the context and the driving forces behind this project and what triggered the need for this project. So here is a simple scheme that in which I tried to explain what were the linkages that led to ELOSH. So we are probably all aware of the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disabilities. So that is the starting point in terms of the policy context of the project. So I will not talk much about the UNCRPD, but one thing that should be noted is that this convention had led to a change in the perception of disability. They moved away from the medical model of seeing disability to regarding it from a social perspective and to seeing persons with disabilities not as subjects of charity, but rather as persons with rights which are equal to everyone else in the society, and their equal opportunities in life, and the freedom of choice and the ability to participate in life. So once we start looking at disability from this perspective, this triggers a need for services that are in line with these principles. So when we come to a point where we need to change the services so that they respect these human rights of persons with disabilities, we need to make sure that this leads to the final circle in this scheme, which is there is a need to provide training for persons who actually provide services for persons with disabilities, so that they are aware of the principles and that they deliver services in line with the rights of persons with disabilities, respecting them, and to make sure that the services are actually benefiting them. So this is where the ELOSH project comes in. So the ELOSH project specifically looks into training for staff in two sectors, housing and social support. Why these two sectors? Because there can be a linkage made to the presentation that we had before, the break made by Helga Stevens. So persons with disabilities are traditionally taking care of one organization, one type of services, and they receive support probably in an institutionalized setting, while there are there is another sector which is social housing, which deals with the different target group, which are persons with housing needs, and they are not necessarily interacting. So the ELOSH project aims to create cooperation